I don't know at what point the switch is going to flip to these publications that are coming up with these county averages. At what point are they going to get with the times and use a real-time data source like us? Are they going to continue to use the old antiquated model? This year's publication came out and showed, okay, X county in Illinois, the cash rental average rate is this. And it's like, well, ours is $150 higher based off of real-time auction results. So I think it's a lagging indicator. And until these data sources get up to speed with technology and start using real-time data, it's always going to be a laggard. And that's the great thing about what we do on the price discovery model, which we call our cash rent estimate, is we use real-time data sets of, okay, we've got this soil, we've got this location within this county, and then here's some county yields, here's the weather data, 10-year averages, and we take all these sources of data and we compile them into what we call a cash rent estimate to say, okay, this field in this county in this city, here's a range of where it should be. Well, that's the starting point of our algorithm and how this works. But basically, every time we hold an online cash rental lease auction, that data gets fed back into the equation. And so we're constantly evolving that cash rent estimate, and we're becoming more dynamic every day with, okay, where commodity prices are at, where input prices, and tying all that together. So if you run a cash rent estimate today, and then you go to run a cash rent estimate 3 months from now, they might be completely different numbers based off of real-time data on the same field. And we actually have people on staff that we have thousands and thousands and thousands of cash rent estimates run every year, and we have people on staff reaching back out to those landowners to say, hey, you did your cash rent estimate 16 months ago when corn was at 4.25. Here's your new cash rent estimate, and here's what rental rates are now. Mm-hmm. And you're not seeing that increase in what's published on the county levels.
Yeah,
through the ag extensions.
It is interesting how dynamic it is. But what were you going to say, Brad?
Well, so much of the platform is set up to just simply be a knowledge resource for the landowner. It's a two-sided marketplace, obviously. And I would argue that, from the feedback that we've got from the farming community, the vast majority of these tenants really love what we're doing in the aspect that it's hard to grow your operation. And we're seeing some unique activity from guys who are traveling now, 100 plus miles to go farm, ideally picking up tracts from between point A and point B along the way. But I think the days of being able to be viable and kind of staying in your little 10-mile radius of your home farm, it's getting much more challenging to grow. There's only so much inventory or acres in that region that we're seeing some of these ambitious guys who are growing their operation. They're getting out of that kind of that small localized area and understanding that if I can run this equipment all the way along the way, if it, obviously travel time is a factor, but if you're farming all the way through, it's really not bothering these guys. And it's been a very good way for some of these guys to grow their operation, to continue to expand. And so we look at it as, and it's not just our opinion, this is true feedback from tenants that this is a real blessing to a lot of guys because how are you supposed to go find a tract of ground to lease that's 50 miles away from you? It's much more challenging. And so when we put, that ability just log in and take a look at what's out there currently, or sign up for the notifications of, hey, there's a new tract available in your geographic area, kind of to the stipulations of how wide you would like to see that. It's been overwhelmingly positive. The landowners are tickled. We're seeing an average increase across the board of 39.5%.
That's huge.
Yeah, which is huge, which in turn, like we talked about, it increases the value of that ground when they go to sell.
And let's
And what we find comical to that is a lot of these farmers, they might own 1,000 acres and rent 1,000 acres. Well, one might say we're driving up rental rates. We don't set the rates, your fellow farmers do. But we just spoke to what a true rental rate of going from 200 to 350 does for the value of that ground and its forced appreciation of changing an asset class. Well, what happens when that chunk of ground sells? It becomes a comp, which that farmer who owned, that 1,000 acres, it just raised his balance sheet through the roof.
Yeah.
Because his ground is worth so much more. So it's one of those things, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're increasing rental rates and increasing the value of land, it is ultimately helping these farmers out, whether they realize it or not. And you look at, okay, I'm a farmer, I need to grow my operation, or I got 2 kids getting out of college that are going to want to come back to the farm. I need to grow these acres. What are your options? Are you just going to go out and gobble up more ground at 24,000 an acre? It's sometimes not even feasible, let alone palatable. So what's the next best way, or what's the only other way? It's to rent more ground. And you see that with that expansion that Brad talked about with, we've got farmers traveling 60, 70, 80 miles just to grow their operations and rent more ground.
Let's kind of walk through an example too, I think, where someone is a potential land buyer and they're looking, let's say, to buy something between 60 and 100 acres. And to your guys' point, let's say the listing says that the cash rent's like $180, when in reality it should be maybe $280 to $350, just for conversation's sake. All of a sudden, this gentleman or person could potentially afford a larger parcel by utilizing your guys' tool to get more income to help service the debt or service the payment, or lower it a few $100s. And now, instead of buying a smaller piece, they can potentially get something a little bit larger. And to me, that's super powerful as a potential buyer to maximize your ground and increase the cash flow, increase the value. And then when that gentleman or person wants to go on and sell that, and now instead of having like $6,000 of income, it has $12,000 of income, which is a big difference. It's huge. I hope you guys enjoyed this. My name is Jake Hofer, and I'm a real estate agent out of the state of Illinois. And it's my goal to help 100 people buy their first farm. Been doing that with the Land Podcast and clips like this every single Thursday and Saturday that are released here on the channel. And to be one of those 100 people, all you have to do is, if you're in the state of Illinois and I can help you, I'd be happy to do so. Number 2, if you want to get connected with someone that can help you, reach out and I'll be happy to get you in contact with an agent that I would personally do business with. And the last one is, if you just simply learn something from the content we're putting out, or you get inspired to take action, I want to know, get you out of that spreadsheet. I'm on a mission to help 100 people. Until next time, see ya.